Hi, I'm Vicki Westling with City Speaks. City Speaks is a show that's brought to you by Mayor Rosas and his administration. It's a show that's here for you, the residents for the city of Dunkirk and our surrounding areas. And today, we're going to do something very special, something that has been asked for by many of our residents over the last couple of months. We're here with William Smock. Mr. Smock is the principal of PTECH. And we're here with his staff, and so we're going to talk a little bit about what PTECH is. We're going to take a little tour. So welcome to City Speaks.
Thanks for having me, Vicki. I appreciate it.
Well, we're so happy to have you here. We're so happy to be a part of PTECH, this wonderful organization. Tell me a little bit. What is PTECH? Explain to us, to the audience. What's it all about?
Great. So PTECH is a grades 9 through 14 program where students will graduate with a Regents diploma, a free 2-year AAS degree, and preferential hiring into manufacturing industry. So it's a program that's based with students using their hands and ties directly to the workforce in our local communities.
So we talk about the students using their hands. They actually get to get involved with hands-on things. And you were telling me earlier about the different projects, some of the projects, an LED lighting project. Tell me about it.
So students are able to work in cooperation with our local businesses, and we like to see ourselves as kind of like that problem-solving entity within the region. You know that we have students that are grades 9 through 12 within our building here. And if businesses can come to us and say, hey, you know, we need something to be machined, or we need something to be welded, or we need something to be 3D printed, we're part of that entity that can make that happen. Students still need to fulfill all of their graduation requirements for the Regents diploma. They take their ELA classes, their math classes, their science classes, but we integrate the manufacturing aspect into every piece of that as much as we can. So students are encouraged to be out of their seats, move around, work with their hands, collaborate with each other, earn certificates along the way. With OSHA, we're working on the Certified Production Technician by the end of this school year, hopefully. And so these are all credentials and pieces that will help them to be successful beyond us.
So they can come in. When we talk about PTECH, the criteria for becoming a student at PTECH is what?
So students should have a strong interest in STEM. It should be a student that's from a supporting district of our region and just really interested in the workforce and welding technology, mechanical technology design, which is more CAD based, and mechanical technology machine tool, which is more machining and CNC based.
And so we talk about CAD-based design. I mean, that is really up and coming. Everything now is computerized, and you know, it just isn't the way that it used to be. It's up to a 6-year program. So a student would come in between their 8th and 9th year. Is that correct?
Correct. So students are brought into our program. They will actually apply for the program, and when accepted into the program, it is a 6-year commitment, and we hope that every student stays for up to 6 years so that they can get the full experience of the work-based learning, the college education, and the Regents diploma as the program was originally mapped out. So there's a lot of opportunities for students to be involved, stay involved, and continue to be successful.
So they can come in between their 8th and 9th grade. They're going to, when they leave, they will have their Regents diploma and a 2-year associate's degree.
Correct. So they'll have a 2-year associate's degree in one of our 3 pathways. So it's welding technology, mechanical technology design, which is mostly CAD-based, and mechanical technology machine tool, which is CNC and manual metalworking. But it's very, like I had said before, it's very directed towards workforce development, and so we have a lot of businesses that are strong partners and have helped to drive the program.
And so now we talk about the different things that they do. In addition to their technical skills that they're going to learn, they also learn to work collaboratively in a team setting with groups. Tell me how that works.
So what would be expected of students when they graduate PTECH or when they graduate a traditional high school would be that they are problem solvers and that they can work together in teams and collaborate and be able to communicate effectively. and have professional skills. So how do we do that respectfully? How do we do that when it's appropriate? So where students may get a touch of that in a traditional high school, in PTECH, that's really one of our mantras, one of our pillars, is how do we do that and how do we help students to be very proficient in those areas? And so that's in every aspect of what we do here.
So in addition to the technical skills, they really basically learn professional coping skills. Because in the real world of work, you can require that. I mean, it can be tough. There'll be days when it's very stressful. So they learn about that. They learn about team building. I would think that would be very something that a prospective employer would be interested in knowing. They would want to know, what all does this individual have? So when they leave here within their 6 years or after their 6 years, they actually are prepared to start at above entry level in most cases. Is that correct?
Correct. So our goal is to have students enter into that middle level working class where they're making a sustainable wage just upon exit of the program with their 2-year degree. So that was the premise from day one. And when we wrote for the grant in 2014 and we received it, we received a lot of input back from our local businesses that stated that these were the professional skills and the soft skills, however you want to phrase it, that they were looking for from our students.
Okay, and so now we have some other members of your PTECH team here. Come on up. Let's see who we're talking about here. We've got Dr. Janelle Ray. And tell us a little bit now, you are the Director of Workforce Development, correct? What does workforce development mean?
So workforce development encompasses overseeing PTECH, the career and technical education centers across our region, and also adult education. And in this role, I get the opportunity to speak with business owners and industry leaders as well as government officials to really understand what are the economic needs of our region and where we need to help prepare the next generation of workers. And as we've all heard, there's an exit from the workforce, particularly in the middle skills jobs that Bill mentioned, and we need to prepare the next generation to step in and fill those shoes, and so that's really what our focus is. We also want to give students a lot of options into entry points, so PTECH allows us to enroll students as 9th graders, our career and technical education programs enroll students as 11th graders, and if someone's gone through all of their education but still haven't found the right fit with the workforce for them, we have adult education programs as well.
So now, if you have an adult education program, are they still a part of the districts, the school districts, or do they come in separately as a high school or a vocational school student?
They come in separately. They're not supported by the districts per se, but we use our same facilities in the evenings.
Okay, so now what kind of, would there be a tuition for that? Would there be a fee for an adult if they want to come in and learn those skills?
We have high school equivalency preparation classes and also ESL classes for students to improve their English skills if they're non-native speakers, and those classes are both free to interested individuals. Our training programs around welding, healthcare professions, and others do have are tuition-based, but often people have access to other support systems that can help fund that tuition.
What would someone do if I know if they're a student coming in from one of the districts, they get enrolled or they qualify or meet the criteria of that particular district, and they then can come to PTECH. As an adult, what would they do?
They can just give us a call or show up at our classroom on 2nd Street, right across from the Dunkirk Observer, or at our offices in the SUNY Technology Incubator, and talk to us about what they're interested in studying, and we'll set them up with a program.
Okay, very good. Are we ready to take a tour? Okay, let's take a tour. Okay, so your partners gallery then, you're going to be expanding that?
With local businesses, we are very well, what do I want to say here, partnered. We just need to add more of those names to the wall.
Oh, okay, there's just some missing. All right, very good. Okay, now, Bill, where are we now?
So we are in the machining shop right now. We have some equipment that is here and set up. So over on the far right-hand side here, we have our manual mills, and then what we're standing in front of right now are our manual lathes. These machines are all hooked up and are being currently used for coursework in one of our teachers' machining classes. We are in the process right now of purchasing more of these pieces of equipment. We should have them in by January, so it'll actually double the amount of equipment that we have manual-wise right now.
Okay, and so the students who are actually in this room, they learn how to operate this equipment. That is awesome. That's great.
And it all starts with safety. So we start with safety, proper procedure for using the equipment, having awareness of what's around us, and then getting into the actual nuts and bolts of using it.
Okay, so this is where you'd mentioned earlier where OSHA is involved, right?
Correct.
So they really abide by that.
Correct.
That is, so how many students are typically in this particular component of the class?
Well, it depends on the class, but our class sizes are usually in this space around 16 to 18. We have students that are doubled up on the machinery, so one person is working while the other person is watching what they're doing, stepping back, providing feedback to each other, and then going back and using it, and then switching roles.
Okay. All right, so where do we want to head from here?
So I'd like to point out over here is this is a Mazak machine that is, what it is it's a brand of Cnc machine, computer numerically controlled. This machine was donated to PTECH from Lakeside Precision, that is a business in Dunkirk, right over on Dove Street. And that business and Mr. Anson have been very strong supporters of our program from the very beginning. We took delivery of this piece of equipment this week, and this is going to allow our program to go to the next level of programming, the next level of machining, and we're very thankful for that.
We have been fortunate to have Lakeside Precision. They've been on City Speaks, and they're really a growing company in Dunkirk, so we're really happy to have them.
I want to make sure that we can highlight our Quickie Aronson unit, because this is something that's locally built and sent worldwide, and there are not a lot of shops that have this sort of equipment. This is a Cnc Plasma Machine, and what we can do is we can create and fab pretty much anything out of steel with this. If the only hiccup would be is if it needs to be bent, because we don't have the type of machine to bend the metal, but this is to be used with like flat materials. It is an incredible piece of equipment for the space.
And so now you're using this piece of equipment. The students are working with that. Are you actually producing a product from this equipment now?
We are, and I can show you some examples of that as we start to get into some of the classrooms, because we have those in different spaces. And I could actually maybe ask Mr. Bryant if there's, actually there's a piece right here I could show you. So this is an example of what can be produced with this machine, and as you can see, it's about 1/4-inch steel, and it's created our emblem out of that. Students will take this, they'll clean it up with a file, they'll clean up the back where the plasma machine has cut through it. You can paint this in, or you could send it out for, powder coating, and it's a really nice finished product. So when you look through catalogs and you see park benches that are made out of steel, or if you see the art that's created, that's flat art like that, we can do the exact same thing here, and that's what students are learning how to do with this machine.
You know, it is just amazing to me. So you can do everything except bend it.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Which we may have the capability of doing that in the future. That's what we're aiming for.
Okay. And now who donated this machine to you?
So this machine was purchased through our grant funds, and it was something that we felt was imperative for students to use. The space was actually created for it when we designed this building, because we knew that this was something that we wanted our students to have that type of exposure to, because that's going to put them above the rest of the students or the rest of the employees that are out there in the workforce.
Okay. And now the guys back here behind the curtains, they're welding, is that correct?
Correct. So they're practicing their craft in wire welding right now, and this is actually the second step in their welding education. So these are all of our sophomores that are in here. They've been a part of the safety and cutting portion, and now they're getting into actually striking arcs and burning some wire. So this is really exciting for them.
I guess so. Well, this looks really fascinating. And so now you have all the gear, all the safety protection, and so now they will be out, when they leave, they will have a skill that will be very marketable.
Correct. So they're learning how to arc weld, they're learning how to MIG weld, and the students that are advancing are learning how to TIG weld. So those are your 3 basics, and they're creating projects along the lines of that. What we're hoping to do is get more business projects involved in that. So like I said, problem solving, having them come to us and say, listen, this is something that we're maybe struggling with or we don't have the capacity to do within our organization. Can you help us out with that? And that's what we want to be, as we want to be a resource for the community.
Now, what's on the other side?
So those are just 5 additional welding booths that are very similar, the exact same booths as what we can see on this side here.
Okay, so you actually have then 10 welding booths.
Correct.
Okay, that's
We have 10 welding booths, but we have 14 welding machines because, as you can see by some of the screens that we have here, we have very flexible space. So students can then grab a welder that is on a different process, that is on wheels, and they can move it into a different part of the shop, and they can work on one of the fab tables, or they can work off the floor and create something maybe on a larger scale.
So flexibility is the key.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So let's head out. All right, so now tell me, where are we now and what are we going to be doing?
So right now we are in our Cad Lab. Mr. Anson is our teacher in this space, and students are in here actually learning college level CAD, SolidWorks, 3D modeling. We have students that work on 3D printing projects in here. We have 2 3D printers. We have a plotter, and then across the hall in our STEM lab, we have laser etching machines where we can cut wood, we can cut cardboard, we can cut plastic, and students are creating all sorts of really cool projects with this equipment that we have.
Okay, so now in the CAD lab, what are the ladies are all working on different things, right? Everybody's working on their own project, or are you working on similar projects?
So I think Mr. Anson could be the one maybe to answer that, or maybe some of our students could answer that.
Currently, they're actually all working on individual projects. I believe. Sorry. Right now, they're all working on individual projects. This period is our CAD lab, so they can either catch up on classwork or work on other projects, or anything they want for that matter, whether it's for another class or a personal item. I believe Sierra is creating a new object to be 3D printed. Mackenzie is working on a floor plan, right, Mackenzie? Or did she go to gym? Oh, yeah, so she was. And I believe Hope is actually working on a prop for the school musical coming up. And Jaylene's catching up on some work. So, variety. We have a lot going on.
So there's a lot happening here. And with the CAD lab, what are some of the goals when they leave this particular, when they graduate from you, where will they be headed?
Well, if they follow through with the pathway, they'll go to JCC and either continue in CAD design or machine tool. And the goal for getting them out of here as seniors this coming year is to have them successfully complete the SolidWorks certification for an associate certificate so that they can take that not only to JCC but into the workplace as well and just have kind of a one-up on some of the competition.
Very good. And so now there are jobs available for what they're doing when they get out of here. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, industry needs it from every spectrum, whether it's the design, the people on the floor operating the machines, at full circle, and they'll have the experience of doing both here.
All right. Well, very good. So now is there anything else that we need to know about this particular lab, this process, what's going on? Do we need to talk to anyone?
So this is Gavin, and Gavin is one of our students that is in his senior year in our program, junior year, see? I feel like it's been that long already. And Gavin, maybe if you want to just give a brief overview of your experience in PTECH and maybe some of the things that you've been working on.
Yeah. So I came to PTECH from Jamestown. I'm from Jamestown. And I came here, designed some stuff with CAD in my 9th grade year, and then 10th grade year we designed some stuff in CAD on 2-dimensional forms, and this year we're doing 3-dimensionals, so I'm taking advantage of that. I'm an aerospace nerd. I like airplanes and space and stuff like that. So I decided I was gonna design a tornado drone that would intercept the center of a tornado in the correct meteorological conditions. I've designed some stuff for flying. I'm a student pilot, and the program's really helped me to mature into a upperclassman of a high schooler and learn a ton along the way that I don't think would have been available to my home school.
So now, when you talk about designing these things, how long does it take you to, how do you go about it? What is your process? You first get the idea, you put it on paper, and then what do you do?
Well, sometimes I'm at home and I'm like, you know what? That could be designed. So I come to school and I think about how I would go about that, what program I would use in the computer, what different manufacturing processes I could use with maybe 3D printers, our CNC router, our plasma cutter, different stuff. And then I start to make a design that I can probably be able to manufacture, but it depends, you know, on the design. Go through prototyping, generally 3D print it once or twice, get it tweaked and perfect, and then maybe send it to the CNC router for a more finished product.
Now, do you work with the CNC router also?
I do, yes. I designed a Pinewood Derby car last year for STEM Wars at JCC, and I used the CNC router. It's the first time we'd ever done it.
Very good. Well, you really are very creative. So now the 3D printing, can you show me anything that you've printed already?
Yes. So let me find something over here, if we can.
Shall we follow you?
I'm trying to find something cool that we did.
Oh, okay.
There is. Where are they at? So, yeah, this is something cool.
Oh, that is kind of
So
cool.
this was a prototype. So the movie Short Circuit, Johnny Five was a robot that inspired Mr. Anson. And when he came to the school, and he's like, I want to build this. So we decided we were going to build this robot, then realized somebody else already did it. So we said we're going to make a PTECH robot that's 10 times better than Johnny Five. So we're in the design process now. This was one of our first prototype of a track design, and we've moved into even trying to cut up a tire as a track. So we've designed tons of different stuff, and then we've got to what we have on the board today, which is our close to maybe finished design. Well, we hope so. So things are going to be designed, and we're going to get a better robot that's actually going to be useful here at PTECH.
That is amazing. So now you design it, and this has been 3D printed?
Yes, 3D printed in multiple pieces, and then we took paper clips and straightened them out and used them as axles.
Wow. That's a new use for paper clips.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
We try to get creative and use the resources we have here and make the coolest stuff we can.
Well, Gavin, thank you so much. This is very interesting.
Yes. This is a plasma cut piece we did with our PTECH logo. It's being worked on now, something to get to the finished product, something like that. And we're working really hard on it, me and Mr. Anson and a bunch of the other students.
Very good. Well, thank you. This is awesome. What a great place to be.
Thank you.
Makes me jealous. I didn't have this in my day. Okay, now where are we now?
So we are now on the second floor of our PTECH facility, and who I'm standing next to right now is Mr. Matt Edwards, who is one of our math instructors here at the PTECH Academy. And what Mr. Edwards, what I've asked him to do is to please just explain some of the projects that he's doing in his math classes and in his its creativity and innovation class and robotics to help the students learn the math skills just a little bit more hands-on.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so tell us a little bit about what you're doing here and what's your process.
Great. So these are some of the projects that we've been working on over the last few years. Like Mr. Smock said, integrating them into math and robotics. And last year I taught a 3D CAD art class. So a lot of this material here, the students have designed and then we 3D printed over on the other side of the room. One of the first projects I'd like to show you, I don't know if you can see this, is Infinity Mirror Clock. The students coded this and built it out of an LED strip of lights, and it's got two one-way mirrors, so it looks like it goes on forever, but it doesn't. And this is an Arduino, which is part of those projects, and that.
All right, so now this is really flat.
Yes.
But it looks like it's not.
Right. Yes, and I have many of those students and parents that come in and try to look under the table to see where it goes, but it's actually just two one-way mirrors. So the lights are just right here, only half an inch thick. It's actually made out of the same material as this project over here, which I can show you right here. This is just a strip of LED lights. Okay, and this is another project that some of my students and I worked on. It's just a race. You just push the buttons as fast as you can, and you race your opponent. First one 3 times around wins. Okay, and so what we do is, like Mr. Smock was saying, with the logic and the coding, math is very geared towards problem solving, so you have to think steps ahead, and it's the same way with coding. And then also involved in this is a lot of electronics, and electronics have a lot of formulas, which, of course, as you know, math, algebra, that's basically solving formulas. any which way, for a different variable or for a specific answer as well. One of the great things we're doing right now in our robotics class is we're building our first battle bot. So I don't know if you can swing over here. We've got, it's a little bit of a mess right now, but this is, one of our seniors is taking this project on, and this is a great battle bot that he's hoping to put some mower blades on the top of it, and we're hoping to find a competition this spring to enter that in.
Now,
That's gonna be real
what
exciting.
is it again?
It's a battle bot. Have you seen on television where they have a large cage and they put two robots and they basically try to destroy each other?
No, I have to say I've not watched that show.
Oh, it's one of the great shows. It's a classic too. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. So the students really learn how to apply the basic logic of mathematics.
Yeah, and not only that, and here at PTECH we focus on professional skills. So all of these projects incorporate teamwork and collaboration. So we always have a lead student who then coordinates with the rest of the students, and they collaborate on the project to complete this. So for instance, the student that's leading this project here has coordinated with someone who has done most of the wiring, and then the controllers actually involves coding as well, so we have another student who's working on that. And so the students work together as a team to complete that project.
And that's one of the critical things that when they go out into the business world or the real world, if you will, the world of work, teamwork, collaboration, you have to learn how to do that. And so many of our students today, when they are students, they don't realize that. And so this is great that you have that. Well, this has been awesome. Now, are we headed anywhere else before we end up today?
So I believe that this is our last stop for the day. We have a lot to show, but I think that this is a really good snapshot for what PTECH has to offer.
So now if I'm a parent and I have a student, I understand that between the 8th and 9th grade, they're eligible to enter PTECH. It's a 6-year commitment. They don't all stay 6 years because some of them finish earlier. And when they leave, they come out with a Regents and a 2-year associate's degree.
And preferential hiring into manufacturing industry. It's not a guarantee because students need to come here, they need to perform, they need to demonstrate their professional skills, they need to be able to absorb what we're instructing them on and be able to not necessarily prove themselves, but make sure that they're using those skills to the best way that they can.
And so they really learn how to be an asset to the employer because they already come in, at the next level. Basically, they're a little higher than entry level. It is awesome. I really am so impressed with what you have here and what you're doing. So the students, there's another something that's important, that students who may be sports-minded, they can still participate in the sporting activities of their district. So if I have a student who loves to play soccer, and they think, well, if I go to PTECH, I won't be able to play soccer. They will.
Correct. So students can still participate in their home district activities. They can still play sports. We have a bunch of students that do play sports spring, winter, fall. What I'd like to point out also is we do have clubs here that operate at PTECH. So we do have a National Honor Society. We do have a student council. We do have a Dream It Do It club, which is our STEM club. So we have a school store also. I mean, we have a lot of really great things that you would see in your traditional high school environment because we don't want students to miss out on those traditional aspects. However, we consider ourselves cutting edge. We consider ourselves very, if you want to coin it that, elite. We are a very strong STEM program. We enjoy that kind of tag and we embrace it, and we're hoping that we're continuing to push industry and push the educational realm.
Right. Well, it sounds like you definitely are. So parents out there, if you have an 8th grade student, and you have 17 different districts, is that correct?
We have 17 districts that do participate in the program currently, and we're always willing to take more students on. So if there's any parent out there or any student out there that needs more information, or you'd like to come and visit PTECH and see if it's the right place for your child, please feel free to reach out to myself or the PTECH program. The phone number is 716-672-3199. Or you could go to the Erie 2 BOCES website, E2CCB.org, and information is on the PTECH tab there. You could also contact Dr. Ray, who is at the SUNY incubator in downtown Dunkirk. So we have many, many different ways for people to contact us. We'd be more than happy to show anybody around.
Well, and if anybody wanted to have a tour, I mean, this is great. And if I had an 8th grader, I'd make sure they came here. Let me tell you. So enrollment is in the spring, right?
So the application process and the advertising process will start somewhere around January, and we'll start communicating with our districts. And really, if anybody has any questions or needs any information, they can contact us at any time. They don't have to wait until that point. We would be more than happy to accommodate any requests for a tour or any requests for more information.
Well, I just think that this is a wonderful opportunity for students. I mean, they can learn not only hands-on skills, but they get their regular curriculum, their English, their math, their science, all of those things that go with it. They can still participate in the sporting programs of their district, and yet they come out with their regents and their two-year associates. So you've done a great job. I think it's really amazing to me. Thank you for watching City Speaks. You can watch City Speaks daily on Dunkirk Spectrum 1301, 3 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Catch us at DunkirkAccess.com. Watch us on YouTube. If you have questions, comments, concerns, send them to me. Vicki Wessling at City Hall, 342 Central Avenue, Dunkirk, 14048. Send an email, vwessling@cityofdunkirk.com. Give me a call, 716-363-6888. And thank you. Thank you for watching City Speaks. And thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you very much.
You take care.
You as well.